Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how I create my Super City animations. Now, you can do this for any MDicky game really. It's the same premise. But if you haven't noticed already, you're going to need a PC or a laptop to be able to do this. I'm not sure how to animate on mobile yet, but when I figure it out, or if I figure it out, I'll most likely do a tutorial on it. So, if you're in the future watching this video, there'll probably be a link to it in the description if I have made a tutorial on it. If not, then I'll try and figure it out. But the first thing you're going to need, well, the only thing you're going to need to download on your PC is a program called Moho or Anime Studio. Now, this program used to be called Anime Studio, and then I think they switched the name to Moho. I'm not sure though. But you're gonna want to download that. Now it costs $400, but I'm not telling you how to download Moho. I'm just saying you need it. The earliest you can get, I think, would be Moho 11. At least that's what I know. It should be the same on Moho 11, 12, and Moho 13. Moho 13 is the most recent one, I believe. Unless you're in the future, again, it's probably Moho 14, 15. But right now, there's the ones that I recommend you use is Moho 11, 12, or 13. Or it's called Anime Studio 11. It's the same thing, but it just has two different names. But that's the program we're going to be using today. The one I'm going to be using is actually called, well, I'm going to be using Moho 12 in this tutorial. So, when you download this, I'm not going to show you how to download it, but, just download it and install it on your PC. Now, when you have that downloaded and open it up, it should look something like this. You might see another picture here. It's just a template. So what you're going to want to do is exit out of this. So come here to Untitled, click the X, and then you're going to want to go to File and create a new file. Now I know this probably looks overwhelming right now, but we're going to talk more about this later. I'm going to explain it. But before we do, I'm going to show you guys how to get the assets you're going to need off of your mobile phone. Okay. So when you're over on your phone, you're going to want to go to the character that you created and that you want to import over to your PC. So I created this simple character named Steve. He's just a simple character I'm using for this tutorial. And what you want to do immediately is take a screenshot, but I'm going to go over here. And as you can see, the background is green. If you want to know how to do that, I created another tutorial on how to mod MDicky games. So you can search that tutorial to figure out how to do this, but I just have the background green, so it's easier to erase the background. But what you're going to want to do first is take a screenshot of the character. And you want to make sure that the stance is number 1 before you take the screenshot, just so you can get the dimensions right for later. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is take a screenshot of every body part individually. So, for example, we're going to do the head first. So, go to the body and make that 0. The same with all the other body parts. Just make them 0. And after you make them all 0, you're going to want to take a screenshot of the head. So, take a screenshot, and then you have that part done. So now we're going to make the body 1. We're going to make the head 0. Take a screenshot of this. Now, you can take a screenshot of multiple things at the same time. You just don't want them to be overlapping. So you can take a screenshot of both of these. And the same with the forearms. Just take a screenshot of that. Next, the hands. And then we're going to do the hips, make that number 9. bring that back to 0. And with the thighs, you can see how they're overlapping right now. You don't want to take a screenshot of that. So what you're going to want to do is come over to the left thigh, make that 0, and then take a screenshot. Then you're going to make the right thigh 0, go back to the left thigh, put it back to where you had it. In my case, it's 8. Take a screenshot. Then we're going to make both of the thighs back to 0, and then we're going to get the lower legs, or the shins, and take a screenshot of both of those since they aren't overlapping. Now, after you have all of those, we're going to take those into a background eraser. But I'm going to go ahead and copy this back so we have this character again. So after you have all the screenshots, we're going to take those into a background erasing app. Okay, so next you're going to want to have a background eraser installed on your phone. Now the one I'm using is just simply called background eraser. I'll have a screenshot showing it on the App Store. It's a simple one, but I think it works the best for me. And once you're on it, you're going to want to hit load photo. Then you're going to scroll down and you can see your assets here. So you're going to want to, pick one of these. I'm going to do the head for right now. And once you're in here, you're going to want to, you can see these purple arrows. Now you're going to want to click on one, drag it, and you can see it moves the box. You're going to want to make this box as small as possible. So move it all the way to the left, and the top one, move it all the way down. So you just have a square. Make sure it's as small as it can be. Then you're going to want to move the square over what you're wanting to erase. So we're going to want to erase the background for the head. Make sure that square is as small as possible, and then hit done up in the top right. Then once you're in here, you can see all these tools at the bottom. The one that you're going to want to use is the magic tool. I think it works the best. And once you have that clicked on, you can see expectant magic size. So you're going to want to turn that all the way up, and you can see it makes the circle bigger. So turn it all the way up, and then you're going to click on the green and drag it, and you can see the background's erasing. So you're going to want to drag around this character. Make sure you don't touch his head, just drag around the green areas. And you're going to want to erase everything else around that as well. And you can switch up the tools as well. Like, if you want to do all the green, I don't think it works as best as the magic tool. So make sure you use the magic tool just to erase around the character. But you can switch to the auto tool to just get all the green there. And if you want to switch the background color, you can see this black checkerboard down here. Click that and it switches the color so you can see things more clearly. And you can also use this tool down here called manual. We're going to make the size bigger. And that just lets you manually erase the backgrounds. So just mess around with these tools. And repair, that basically, if you accidentally mess up and you want to bring it back, you can hit the repair, drag it, and it brings it back. But we're going to use the manual tool to get rid of this again. And yeah, you can zoom in, zoom out to see, if you have everything right. I think that's good enough. We're going to hit done. And you can change these options down here at the bottom. This basically makes it so it shaves off a little bit of the edge. We're going to make this 1. It's by default 1, so we're just going to keep it at 1. And then once you have that done, you're going to hit save. We're not going to rate it right now. But once you have that done, hit save, hit finish. Ad popped up. But then you're going to want to load it. And you can see your photos right there. The background's erased. And you're just going to do that for all the other ones as well. So we're going to do it for the body. make sure the square is as small as it can be. Make sure it's as small as possible for all of them. That's really important. Make sure the square is as small as possible. Make it over the body part you want to erase. Click OK. Magic tool. Erase the background. And yeah, just do that for everything. We're going to do auto here. We're going to click OK. That looks good enough. Keep that at 1. Hit save. Finish. Just do that for every single one. I'm going to show you how to do it for these body parts right here, where you have 2 though. So make this as small as possible. Hover over both of them. Now you want to get these individually. So you're going to have that. We're going to make this magic tool bigger. We're going to actually delete one of these. So we're actually going to use the manual tool. We're going to get rid of this right leg. So just get rid of that. We'll get it the next time we do this. Then we're going to come back to the magic tool. Get rid of all this green. Get rid of the rest with the auto tool. Hit OK. Keep this at 1. Save. So we just got the left leg from that. Load a photo. Go back to the same one. And now we're going to get the right leg. Make this as small as possible. Hover over it. Done. We're going to use the manual tool. Get rid of this left leg. Once that's out of there, magic tool. Make that big. Erase it. Then use the auto tool to erase the rest. Hit done. Save. And you're going to want to do that for all the body parts. So you're going to do the same for the forearms as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. And once you have all of these done, you're going to want to import it over to your phone. So plug your phone in to your PC with a USB cable and transfer them all over to your phone. Alright guys, so once you have all the backgrounds erased and your files transferred to your PC, you should have all of your assets looking like this. I put them all in a folder. You should have them wherever you imported them to. Now, once you have all of these files, you're going to want to click and drag over every one of them. Click and drag them all to Moho. And you should see them all coming in on the right side here. Now, I should say with this picture, where you took a screenshot of the full character, it doesn't matter if you erased the background of it or not. I kept the background, but if you erased it, don't worry, it's fine. So, once you have all these imported, on the left here, you see where I'm clicking? These are all the pictures you just imported. So, we're gonna click on these eyeballs here, and that hides the picture. But actually, before that, I'm going to show you about the timeline. So here at the bottom is the timeline. You see where I'm dragging? This is basically where you animate. And as you drag this line, you can see right here where it says frame. You can see this number increase and decrease. You're gonna want to make sure that that is on frame 0. Make sure it's always on frame 0 when you're doing stuff other than animating. So just make sure that this is on frame 0. And by the way, if you're watching this, you're probably new to Moho. I suggest you go to this channel called Poptoogie. I'm gonna have a link to it in the description. That guy literally helped me with almost everything I know about Moho. His videos are just, they're good if you're a beginner to Moho and an anime studio. So if you want to just learn the basics, and maybe if I miss something, go to his channel, check out some of his videos, and he's really good at explaining this. But I'm gonna try to make this as best as I can, explaining the more basic things, and I'm gonna have a part 2 sort of going in depth. I don't know how long I'm gonna make this series, but it's gonna be a multiple part series. But yeah, so once you're on frame 0, make sure you're on frame 0. Come back over here to where you have all your files at. These eyeballs, we're gonna click it, and that hides the picture. So we're gonna click on every single one of them and hide them. Alright, so once you have them all hidden, we're gonna come to this first one, unhide it, and we're gonna see what that is. So that's the head. So you're gonna click on this picture, the head, click on the name here, so we can change the name of it. We're gonna change the name to head. This is just organizing, so we know exactly what we're working with here. The next picture, this is the background. We're not gonna change the picture of this. We're actually gonna just drag this all the way to the bottom. We're actually gonna delete this layer 1. That's not a picture. So just click on it, come up here to the trash can right under the layers, click delete. Now, this is the head. We're gonna hide the background. The next one is, I believe this is the left arm. Yeah, that's the left arm. The left upper arm. But we're gonna call it the left back arm. Well, we're gonna call it the back arm. So, we're gonna come over here, come to the name, back arm. Actually, we're just gonna call it B arm, so it's easier to see. B arm. Then we're gonna hide that. This is front arm. We're gonna call this F arm for front. And just do that for all of these. This is the back hand. So B hand. Next one should be the front hand. F hand. This is just gonna make it easier for us to organize all of these so they're all in the right positions. So I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna do all of these. Actually, I'm not gonna fast forward. I'm gonna do this with you. This is the hips. What's the next one? I believe this is the front leg. Yeah, that's the front leg. So F leg. It's the front thigh. We're gonna name it front thigh. The next one is the back thigh. So B thigh. This is, I think, the back forearm. So we're gonna name this B forearm. Next one is front forearm. Front forearm. I guess this first one is the front leg. So F leg. And we're gonna name it front shin. Next one, we're gonna name it back shin. And if you don't know like what these body parts are, that's why we took the screenshot. You can see how they're lined up to see exactly which part it is. But now that we have all of these named, we're going to try and move them into position. But first, we're going to come to the screenshot we took of the character. We're going to come to layer here on the left side, transform layer. So we're going to click on that, make sure that's clicked. Come over, hover over the picture where you can see a cross right where your crosshairs are. If you're over here, you can see a little rotating tool. That's because we're outside of the picture. We're going to come right in the middle of the picture, move it to the middle, like right here. And we're going to come to the head here, and we're just going to line them up. You can zoom in and zoom out with the scroll wheel, and you can move the picture around. If you right click and hold, you can move around the scene. So we're going to zoom in, move around, and we're just going to line this up as best as we can. Oh, if you accidentally mess up, hold Control and Z to backspace. So we're just going to keep that like that. The head's in position. We can hide the head again. This is the back arm. So we're just going to try to line that up with the back arm. And just do that for all of these. The front arm, line that up with this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just try and get it as best as you can. Put the front hand there. That was the back hand. Put the front hand here. Hips. After we line these up, we're actually going to change the positions of them. Like where they are layer wise. Back thigh. Put that here. This is the back forearm. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to see how they look without the screenshot on, and then we're going to be able to move them. I'm accidentally moving the back front arm, but I hit it, so Control and Z, and that should be back in place. Make sure it's highlighted before you move it, so you realize which one you're moving. Front forearm, front shin. Just line the shoes up. Back shin. Oh, move the front shin again. Control Z. And that's that. What's this? The body. Try and line that up. Alright. So once you have them all lined up as best as you can go ahead and hide that. Hide the screenshot. Zoom back out a little. And we're going to show everything here. So make sure the eyes are showing. And they're all here. Now we're going to change the positions of these. Now, the very top one should be the head. Actually, yeah, I think the very top one should be the head. The body, we're going to put that right under the head. So look for body. Oh, I didn't name the body accidentally. So name this body. That should be right under the head and over everything else. And then we're going to do the front arm. Front arm should be on top of everything. Front forearm should be right under the front arm. So F forearm here. And then the front hand should be on top of, we'll put that on top of everything there. Yeah, we'll put that on top of the front arm. So next we're going to put the hips above the body. Hips go above the body. And right under the hips, we're going to put the back thigh. Right under the hips, back thigh. We're going to put the front thigh right above the back thigh as well. Then we're going to put the front shin under the front thigh, back shin under the back thigh. And now we have the arms and the hands. Put the back hand on top of the back arm, and make sure the back forearm is the last one. So now your character should be, it should be looking like this. And I'm actually not going to move the things around. Actually, let's hide the body to see if that front arm is nice, that back forearm. I think I want to move the back forearm, so highlight the back forearm, see if we can move this around to see if we can get it looking better. I think that looks pretty good right there. And we're gonna keep that like that. He looks pretty good right now. Now, after you have your character looking like this, he's looking pretty good, you can delete the screenshot if you want. I'm gonna keep it, but you don't need it anymore. Drop my mouse. Now, after you have all this done, you're gonna come up to the front hand, highlight the front hand, and we are gonna come here, right under layers, and click on new layer. Then you're gonna come down to bone. Click on new layer, then bone, and should create a bone layer. We're gonna name this Steve because this is our character. So you should have a new bone layer named Steve. Nothing should pop up, but it's there. And actually, before we do anything there, our character isn't really in the center. So we're gonna highlight the front hand, hold shift, and highlight everything, including a screenshot if you still have it. And now we're gonna click in the middle, hold shift, and drag. So that moves all of these parts together. And we're gonna try to put this right in the middle of the screen. So like right there, I think that's good. Yeah. So now come back up to the bone. The character's in the middle of the screen, so it looks a little bit better. In the bone layer, up here on the left hand side where it says tools, you should see these new tools up here. Select bone, sketch bone, add bone. We're gonna click on add bone. Now we're doing rigging right now. So we're gonna rig the character up to some bones so we can move the body parts individually or together, basically. So follow me when I do this. We're gonna come right here in the hips, create a bone going up, like right towards the belt. And if you want this bone to be straight, just click and drag, right? Don't let go yet. If you want this bone to be straight, hold shift while you're dragging, and it stays in a straight line, or, you know, diagonally. We're gonna keep it in a straight line like this, go right up to the belt, and let go. And that's a bone created. Now, we're gonna create another bone right here, click right at the top of the hips bone, drag it all the way up here to like the top of the shirt. Your character may look different, but around here is fine, and then let go. Then we're gonna create a neck bone, so a bone right here, let go. Then a head bone, so right at his chin, drag it all the way up to the top of his head, let go. Then we're gonna create a bone for his arms. So we're gonna start right up here at his shoulder, drag it all the way down to the bottom of his upper arm, let go, click again, create another bone for his forearm, let go, create another bone for his hand. Do the same for the other side. We're actually gonna hide the body for this one, so it's easier to see. So start at his shoulder, go down, do his forearm, and one for his hand. We can bring the body back. We're gonna hide the hips for this one. We're gonna start right here at the top of the thigh. Come down here to the bottom, get his shin, and end right there. We're gonna do the same here. Start at the top, do the shin, and actually we're gonna create feet bones. We're gonna create a bone right here. We're actually gonna hold shift. Actually, we're not. We're just gonna try and make this as straight as possible. And we're gonna do the same thing for the other leg. And finally, we're gonna create a bone right under the character, a pretty big one. And like that. So this should be your character and all the bones rigged. Now, next, we're gonna come to select bone, and we're gonna target all these bones. So select all of them, click and drag over all of the bones. We're gonna come here to reparent bone. Actually, first, come to bone strength, and you should see all these red ovals popping up around the bones. You're gonna click and drag all the way to the left so that all the bone strength is all the way down. Then we're gonna come over here to reparent bones and make sure they're all selected. They're all red, so that means they're all selected, and just click off the character so all the arrows are gone. Now we're gonna come back up here to select bone, and we're gonna select the hips bone. We're gonna bring the hips back, actually. We'll actually start. We'll start with the hips bone. So start with the hips bone. Come back here to reparent bone, and then click on this bone right here, the lower one, and you can see it creates an arrow from the hips to this bone. So we're gonna do that again. Come here to the select bone tool, come to the front hand, go back to the reparent bone, click on the forearm, front forearm, select the front forearm, reparent the upper arm, click on the upper arm, reparent to the body, click on the body, reparent to the hips. And we're going to do the same for the other arm. So go to the back hand, back forearm, click on the back forearm and select bone, reparent that to the front upper arm, the back upper arm, select the back upper arm, reparent it to the body. And now we're going to do the head. Click on the head, parent it to the neck, parent it to the body. And we're going to do that for the legs now. Come to the foot, parent it to the shin, the front shin, select the front shin, parent it to the front thigh, parent it to the hips. Same for the other leg. The back foot to the back shin, the back shin to the back thigh to the hips. And that should be your character rigged. Now, if we come here, up here, to manipulate bones tool, click on that, and we'll see what this does. It's not going to move the character yet, because we haven't parented it, but if you move one of these bones, or multiple, you can see it moves the bones. So we're just going to move all these to make sure they're correct. They all move correctly. You can move these bones here, and this bone at the bottom should move the entire character. Now when you click on the select bone tool, it'll all go back to normal, so you didn't mess anything up there. Now we're gonna connect these body parts to the bones. So the first thing we're gonna do is come to the front hand bone, and over here on the left hand side we should see an option for why isn't it popping up? Alright guys, so I figured out what happened. I accidentally didn't put these layers on the right hand side. I didn't put them into the bone layer. So what you're going to want to do is come here to the front hand, click it, hold shift, drag it all the way down to the back forearm. Don't select the screenshot you took of the full character, just all the body parts. Click it, drag it up to the bone that you created. In my case it's Steve, and now they're all in the bone layer now. So now we should have the option, which we do. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is come to the front hand, come up to this option right here called bind layer. Now click on that, and we're going to bind that layer to this front hand bone. So click on the front hand bone and we should be good. So now we're going to do that for the front arm. If you can't see these options, just click the hide and show tool to see which one you're working with. So we're working with the front upper arm. We're going to bind that layer to the front upper arm bone, hide, show, doing this bone here, and just do that for all of them. So the head, we're going to connect that to the head bone. The hips should be the hips bone. I think this is front thigh. That one. Front shin is this. Back shin here. Make sure it's highlighted to the one that you're selecting. The body should be this middle bone here. Back hand, this one. Back arm and back forearm. Okay, so now that should be done. Now if we come back up to the bone layer, mine's is Steve, come back up here to manipulate bones. We're on frame 0, so it will go back to normal. Now if we move it, we can move the character. You can see the character moves with the bones now. So just play around with this, see if this works for you. If not, go back to the tutorial to see if you miss any steps. And yeah, now we can move the character. Alright, so if you come back here to the select bone, everything should go back to normal. Alright. Now, I'm gonna show you how to animate this character. I'm wondering what I want to do. I'll just show you how to animate them. I'll probably get a background in here later, to do it that way, to show you how to animate the background as well. But right now I'm going to show you how to animate the character. So what you're going to want to do now is come down here to the timeline. We were on frame 0 this whole time. Make sure you were on frame 0 so there's not any issues. But now we're going to come over here to frame 1. Now this is where your animation starts, is where your character starts the animation. So we're going to say we want him to start on the left side and we want him to walk to the right side. So we're going to come over here, up here to the bone tool, to manipulate bones. And now if we move it, and we come back to the select bone tool, it's not going to go back, because we're in the timeline now. And you can see it created these little dots here. These are called keyframes. So that's everything basically that we changed in the timeline. Again, go to Poptugi's channel. He'll give a better explanation of it. But I'm trying to make this as understandable as I can. But since we're in a timeline, everything we do now, it's not going to go back to normal. So on frame 1, we want him to be on the left side of the screen. And let's say after 3 seconds. So down here at frame 72, you can see there's a 3. Make sure this is here. 3 seconds, we want him to be all the way on the other side. So we're going to click this bottom bone, hold shift so it stays in the same line, and we want him to be here. Now, he just slides there right now, but we want him to look like he's walking over there, right? So we're going to have to make, a walk cycle. Maybe I'll do a full walk cycle right now. I will. So, how to start a walk cycle? Basically, we're going to zoom into our character. And you're going to make him look like he's in the middle of walking. Or, we'll probably start when he's not walking. So, we'll make him start like this, like he's standing still. Then we're going to come all the way up to frame, let's say 12. Frame 12. Now, we're going to make him look like he's in the middle of his walk cycle. So, we're going to take his back leg, drag it behind, a little bit behind his body, take his front leg, drag it in front. And we're going to make the back leg a little bit further, like that. Now, we're going to keep his back arm upwards, because you swing your arms and your legs alternatively. You don't swing them with each other when you walk. So, the back arm should be in the front because the front leg is in the front. And the front arm should be in the back because the back leg is in the back. So, he should look something like this. Like he's in the middle of walking. Now, we're going to come to, let's say, 36. And we want him to be in the other phase of walking. Basically the opposite. So we're going to come here, drag the front leg to the back, and we're going to drag the back leg to the front. And the same with the arms. Drag the back arm to the back, and the front arm to the front. We're going to make this look a little bit better. Add a little bit of bend to it if you want. His front arm can be bent a little. And yeah, if you can see, when we come from frame 1 and go all the way to frame 36, you can see he's kind of moving a little bit. You see? It looks like he's walking almost. But we're going to make this look a little bit better. So at frame, let's say 16, we're going to make it so his back leg is bending up. and his front leg is a little bit bent, right? So it looks like he's stepping on that front leg. Then the same thing with frame 30. We're going to make this, the front leg go up a little bit, the back leg a little bit bent. That doesn't look the best. We're going to make this come down a little, actually. Oh no, actually, you know what? I think I may have messed up. This is actually going to be, we're going to move these keyframes here on frame 30. So click and drag over these circles at the bottom here, and you can click on it and drag it over. So it makes it a little bit quicker if you wanted to. I haven't made a walk cycle in a while, guys, so it might be a little messed up. Let me think a little bit. Okay, guys, actually, we're gonna start all this over. So we're gonna select everything we just did, click and drag over everything, and just hit delete. Right? And actually, we're missing one here. Oh, here at 3. So just delete everything there. And we're going to start back at keyframe 1. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drag this guy all the way over here to the left hand side while holding shift. Then we're going to come back to second 3, frame 72. Click and drag holding shift and drag them to the right hand side. Now we're going to come back here to frame 12, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make him look like he's in the middle of walking. So he should look something like this. Bend his arm a little. We're going to come to frame 24, do the alternative. Make it look like he's in the middle of walking the other, in the other pose. Make sure his his arms and legs are opposite of each other. And now we're going to come to frame 36 because that's the same distance between these two. And we're going to come back here to frame 12, copy these keyframes. So we're going to click and drag over these two at frame 12. Hold Control C to copy. Then we're going to come over here to 36, Control V to paste. So Control C copy, Control V paste. And now, if we see, you can see he's kind of walking a little bit there. But we want him to look more realistic when he's walking. So now, what we're going to do is here at frame 16, he's swinging his front leg forward. So we're going to make his front leg bend up a bit at frame 16. Right? And then you can see it looks like he's bending his leg to walk forward. And now at frame 30, he's swinging his back leg forward. So we're going to make his back leg bend up a bit. So it looks like he's walking with the back leg up. So now you can see it looks like he's walking a little bit. And these two keyframes, now frame 12 and frame 36 are the same. So we want those two to be the same. That's why we copied frame 12 and made it the same as frame 36. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come here, drag over both of these keyframes at frame 36 until they're both highlighted red. We're going to right click and hit cycle. Right here, cycle. Now, this should pop up. We want this, just keep this the same, keep absolute, and you can see that it says 1 here. you can highlight this, and you can use your scroll wheel to scroll up or down. So, and you can see here at the bottom left, this is moving. So if you scroll down, it goes all the way back down a couple keyframes. You scroll up, it goes up a couple keyframes. So we're gonna bring this up to frame 12 is where it starts. So we're gonna do it on frame 13, right after it starts, right after the walk cycle starts. So put this on frame 13 or wherever the exact keyframe after you started your walk cycle, and then we're gonna hit X. And now as we play this, he should continue walking even after we stop. You see, he's continuing to do the walk animation. So he'll just continue to do that the entire time if we just let it run. But he's only supposed to move from keyframe 1 to keyframe 72, which is 3 seconds. So from 1 to 72, he's supposed to stay there. So let's say we want him to stop walking at around, let's say 60. Well, we want him to stop walking at around 60. So at frame 60, we're going to hit Control A. And what Control A does is it selects all the bones on the screen. And now we're going to hit Control V, so it freezes all those bones in place. So now they freeze in place after frame 60. Except we still have we still have him moving. We still have this bottom bone moving to the right side of the screen. So his entire character model is still going to be moving even after we froze all the bones. But that's fine because we're going to make him look like he's standing up straight again. So on frame 72, which is the last frame, frame 72, we're going to come back to the character and we're going to put him in his normal stance pose. So we're just going to make it look like he's standing up normally again, as best as we can. So we're going to put his arms back to normal. Let's try to make him look a little bit better. I'll say that's pretty good right there. So now we'll look at it. He should walk and stop. You can see? So for frame 60 to frame 72, he does the animation that we just made of him stopping. Because on frame 60, we froze all the keyframes in place, and on 72, we move them again. So from 60 to 72, he's gonna move gradually to that stance. And that's basically how you animate your character. This is a basic animation. There's more advanced stuff that I'll do in later parts, but that's basically how you make your character walk. And let's see if we can get a background in here actually. So let's go to Google. We'll see if we can get a background, like a street. Let's search MDickie background. You can get a background from the actual game assets. I actually created a tutorial on how to do that, but we're gonna see if there's one here. So let's just take this one. So we're just gonna download this. Save image. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, so we're just gonna save this. to this folder, save it here. I'm going to save it in a Steve folder. Once you have that downloaded, or any background you want, just click and drag that here. I think it's important. Actually, you want to be on frame 0 again. Frame 0 is where you add all your pictures and stuff. So it wouldn't work on frame 72. So now we can click and drag, and the picture should be importing to here, I think. Huh. Wonder what happened. Okay guys, so I just edited in the background. I don't know why the other ones weren't working, but the way you do it, you just download a background, or if you have one on your PC, click and drag it. I think it's because it wasn't a JPEG file or something, but just import that over here to Moho the same way you imported the other files. And you can scale this image. Come down here to this circle on any one of the corners, click, and that scales it. And we're just going to move that. We're on frame 0, so we can stay in that position. So we're going to move that up, and we're actually going to stretch it. Just because. We're going to move that here. We don't have to have this moving because he actually moves. But if you want this to move, come to frame 1, click it just to create a keyframe. Just click it, and he stops at frame 72. So let's say we want the screen to move a little bit, like here. It's gonna look like he's moving pretty fast. Maybe we can make this a bit faster. I don't know. Yeah, but that's basically how you animate in Anime Studio or Moho. It's a basic tutorial. I didn't cover everything, but I will have multiple parts. But let's say you have this done and you want to export this. So what I'm gonna do is, this animation is from frame 1 to 72. That's where it stops. So we're gonna come up to here to File, Export Animation. Click on Export Animation, and you can see here the start frame and the end frame. It ends on frame 72, so we're gonna change this 240 to 72. And you can keep all this the same. The name, we're gonna change it to Steve. .mp4, choose configuration. You can keep all this as it is, and we're gonna click OK. Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't let me import it. I think it was because of the image name, the file type. It's strange, but it should work for you guys. And a screen like this should pop up. This is just basically it rendering. It goes as fast, depending on how fast your computer is, how long the animation is. But I'll come back when this is done. It shouldn't take too long. Okay, so after it's done, this screen should pop up, a screen with your video on it. And if we play it, it plays the video. It's full screen actually. Yeah. So that's our animation. It's just a basic animation. Again, I'll have multiple parts of this with more advanced things. But yeah, this is just a basic tutorial on how I animate in Super City. And hopefully this worked for you. Again, if you want more tips on this, more of the more intricacies of Moho or Anime Studio, go to Poptoogie. His channel will be linked in the description. check out some of my other tutorials to see, you know, how to get the raw assets of the MDicky games and how to mod MDicky games. But yeah, I'll see you guys in episode 2 of this series, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I explained it well, and have a good day. Stay safe out there.